Back to the show, and now it's time for us to talk sports, and we're already in the discussion with my two favorite coaches. We have Coach de Graaf and Coach Dunbar. Welcome back. How's the weekend been for you?
For me, fantastic, because Germany won. Yeah, even though my second team, the Dutch, were expected to be in the final. I expected them to be in the final, but unfortunately we're out there. But all the same, I didn't want Argentina to win.
Well, it looks like you got your wish. Coach de Graaf.
It's a superb weekend of football. I just wanted the best team to win. I'm not a particular supporter of any team, but I think we witnessed some very good quality football.
Very
unhappy end was the Brazilians. I think we're seeing they have to change.
Indeed.
But the Netherlands, I was expecting them to make it to the final. Unfortunately, it wasn't to be. But I thought they did very well.
They did.
They showed Brazil that, hey, we deserve that third place. Took it. Well done. I'm not so much against Argentina. As I said on Friday, that they're spoilers, aren't they? And for me, though, they played a superb game of football.
They did indeed.
They were just beaten by class. And what a goal to be beaten by. It's fantastic.
It was.
But I think the other thing that we need to talk about is the emotional aspect of this particular week. The week just went by. So far as Brazilians are concerned. Mixed emotions. It was a terrible week for the Brazilian.
Very. And especially when even all the last hopes even hung on the balance of a South American team, bringing it home. Still, the German machine, the well-oiled German machine.
But it was even reported that one 15-year-old girl hung herself.
That's taken a bit too far.
You remember on Friday I was telling you about the young boy who after the Brazil match cried and all the rest of it. So I actually caught a glimpse of him at the final. He was there He was there at the final watching Germany, and you could see him at the end when they finally blew the whistle, and they caught one glimpse of him, and he just had his head down. He was like, that was it. South America. But anyway, let's get into the details of it all. What do you think was the winning factor? What do you think was the piece de resistance that's made Germany just that unbeatable force all throughout the tournament?
It was just about consistency and the mental strength. Germany had performed consistently right from the first game till the last game. And that is very, very important when it comes to performance and subsequently getting results. And this is what has propelled them to the top there. A very, very strong mentality. And more so when it comes to, I don't want to talk about the technicalities and all that. Let's just look at the attitude. The attitude can always get you where you want to get to if it is positive. And you have a target and aim. Their aim was to win the cup. And of course they came, and that is just exactly what they did. And anytime they won, they celebrated in moderation, and that's
very true.
It's very, very important. So I think that attitudinally
they were prepared.
They were very prepared, and they deserved what
I agree with you. Coach Dunbar. Coach de Graaf, what do you think?
I'll add to what Coach Dunbar just said, in that they have been preparing for nearly 20 years for this. You see, and they've been patient. Because Jürgen Loh, the German coach, he was the assistant in 2006. And he stuck with the youngsters. Last World Cup, they didn't do particularly well. But they knew they were en route to winning the World Cup. It's a well-planned, well-calculated, and when somebody's prepared to do that, they've got the just desserts. I wish them well, and I said, well done. Other countries should learn.
Definitely.
Especially African countries.
Now, there was a comparison made, obviously, with even the sports commentators made it on yesterday, saying that Ghanaian team was the only one to be able to really give the Germans a run for their money. Now, I somewhat beg to differ in that that commentary, because I believe, although they were consistent, they got better every single game. Now, one of the tactics that we mentioned that we had to take to the Germans was getting them off their game. Maybe being a little bit aggressive, making them fluster and putting them off their normal game plan. Argentina tried that yesterday.
Yes.
To the point where there were injuries. Germans bled
Yes.
on the pitch,
Yes.
and they remained completely and utterly composed.
That's right.
Yes. The main difference, sorry, Coach, here to jump in, the main difference is that the Black Stars are a touch quicker than the Argentinians. You see, that's the main difference. I knew in my heart of hearts that the Germans were going to come out on top because they were not flustered. They just kept trying to do the right thing, and as Coach said, consistency.
Yeah.
They were consistent in doing the right things. In the end, they won.
Indeed.
But you see, Joachim did something which was, he built a team, and the team was not built around individuals.
That's
Yes,
right.
very
Yeah.
important.
So they
You've
have
got young players who have been in a couple of these World Cups already.
That's right.
Muller's what, 24?
24.
He's been in 2 World Cups already.
Yes.
Scored over 10 goals.
That's
I mean,
right. So you can imagine.
Yeah.
It's about preparation.
Tony Cruz.
And doing
Tony
the
Cruz,
right
yeah.
the right things.
Yeah.
And I think he spent the whole of the time building a solid team. And this is exactly what he did. But not to take anything from the Argentines. In my opinion, I think they had the best back four in the whole of the tournament.
right.
If you look at Gary, Zabaleta that we're talking about, Mascherano,
Yep.
it's fantastic. Di Michelis, the back there, when he came in back there, he brought more stability in the defense. Yes, they tried as much as possible to frustrate Germans.
Yeah.
But what they did excellently well
Was defend.
was defending.
Yeah.
Especially they cut out the danger anytime the Germans came up front.
Yeah.
So their recovery tackles were very good.
Very true.
Interceptions were very good. So I think that is what the Argentines did better than the Ghanaian team.
Right.
Defensively, they were more organized.
Yes.
Than the Ghanaian team. But apart from that, when it comes to total football, I think on the break, the Ghanaian team were better off in the game.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, the Ballon d'Or. Messi receiving this award afterwards. I'm of the opinion that I think he should have gone to Muller. Honestly, I believe that in regards to the whole tournament, Muller's performance in regards to the same thing, consistency and the rest of it, I think I compare him to the Terminator 2.
Yeah?
Yeah, not the rest of Terminator, the one
yeah.
Terminator 2, the one that was like liquid.
Yes.
Because literally he was there at one point, very strong. You turn around, he's not there, and all of a sudden, then he's here.
Yeah.
And that was him, the whole tournament. There was not one game that this guy let up, and I believe that was the mark of the Ballon d'Or. I believe it should have gone to Muller. That's my opinion. I don't believe Messi completely and utterly deserved it.
I couldn't have disagreed with you any further. That was my opinion as well. And it all depends on the criteria that they use to choose the Ballon d'Or.
Right.
No qualms about that. But we also make our opinions. We also read the game and we analyze the game.
Yes.
And the game functionally is about the contribution of the individual player functionally.
Yeah.
As an individual, your specifics are looked at and your contribution.
I'd totally agree with you there, Coach. Muller, yes, but in my heart, I'm really looking from the coaching side and the type of player that I would like to see win that best player. And I think Robin.
Robin.
Seriously, I think there's not much between Muller and Robin. But
the only thing that I would have said about Iron Robin is his diving. That admittance of his diving alone probably just knocked him down.
The only difference between Muller and Robin is that Robin admitted it.
Yeah.
Muller dives. Muller is also a diver, so both of them guilty.
Yeah.
Guilty as charged. But I would say that Robin brought a little bit more quality in terms of his willingness to take on players, his skill, his speed. Yes, Muller was a good goal, scored the goals. But I would say I would go for Robin.
Yeah.
I would go for Robin. Either one of them I wouldn't complain, but Messi, definitely not. I would have gone for Mascherano. I thought Mascherano was champion yesterday.
Yeah.
And I thought the Argentinians in general gave a masterclass in defending. All clubs, all coaches, you want to teach your team how to defend.
Yeah.
Watch the Argentinian match yesterday.
Okay, because that was actually going to lead to my next question, because because we've had such huge goal margins in some of the previous matches. Obviously some of them went to penalties and overtime, but even in some of the standard matches the goal margins were pretty big. And so for the final to be just one goal, it comes down to it. I was going to ask, what do you think the main issue was? Why was it such a very few goals scored in this final, and it seems to be the defense.
Yes, and I think the other thing is both teams deserve to be there.
Right.
This is the thing. Both teams deserve to be there. Both teams are there because man for man, they're quality. They brought a solid squad.
Yes.
When one player is out, they've got quality players to replace them. Both teams. And strategically, both teams are solid. Their strategy, they don't just come in one strategy. They come in one strategy, it's not working, they will switch it. And you will see the coach switching from strategy to strategy.
So that was the case of Brazil then?
Exactly. That's right. They relied just on one man. How can Coach Dunbar said it earlier? You cannot just build your team around one player. And yesterday, that was the difference between Germany and Argentina. The Germans built their team around a whole team. They had about 5-6 players. Four of them are able to score at any time. But the Argentinians, defensively great, but they only have one man. I mean, they had a chance to score, didn't they?
The last free kick that he took, that was just the epitome of pressure. You could just see it on his face, and where the ball went alone just tells you that at that point in time there was no more composure. The pressure was just too much, because it wasn't just like he had missed a goal; it was like he had aimed for the crowd.
I don't think
maybe somebody insulted him in the crowd. He said, "You
are no Maradona."
You want to get at him, But on a very more serious note, coaches, they read the game very, very well, and they try as much as possible to find out what are the weaknesses of the opponent as against our strengths.
Where both coaches really applied their tactics, and as I'll say, the Germans don't like being attacked. I think I mentioned that Friday, and the Argentinians knew that. But it's a shame that they created 2 or 3 chances and they could not put them away.
Not at all.
And this is where you lose your finals. When you play a final, when you get those chances, you've got to put them away. I mean, the Germans had 2-3, put one away, they win.
That's the difference. That is the difference. Okay, now let's talk about the tournament in its totality, because this has been a tournament where records have been broken, hearts have been broken, emotional roller coaster rides have been taken. What do you think would be the significance or the nostalgia about this particular 2014 tournament? That when we look at the next World Cup, we'll look back at this and say, this is what happened at Brazil. This is what made it the World Cup it was.
I'll take it from first the agitations that started before or during the World Cup, and they were able to manage it well. So I think organization-wise, I think they didn't do too badly, because they were able to, to keep all these things, and it did not affect the World Cup proper.
Indeed.
But apart from that, I think I'm looking at the letdowns, expectations of certain teams, certain countries. Was completely out of the way. The Spanish, for instance, what we expected to see, what we wanted them to bring on board, to bring that kind of element into the World Cup, the beauty of football, totally disappointing. So I think the Spanish, I tell you, did not bring what we expected to see in the World Cup. But apart from that, yes, many records were broken, especially the record breakers were the Brazilians. They broke nearly almost every record negatively.
Actually, Argentina broke one yesterday as well. They had never come back from a goal being down 1 goal, and I think they just continued with that yesterday as well. So it's a very sad situation for them.
Yeah, but find it difficult to recover from being 1 goal down. I'll say the World Cup, many images. I think the Spanish situation, I think we all miscalculated. If you calculate and look at how many teams stay on top of world football, it's normally about 8 years. The Spanish have been on top for about 8 years, because that's the time that it takes your youngsters to reach maturity, 20, 30, 32, and that's when it's time for the team to rebuild. But by that time, other teams
have also done the same.
But they have youth and skill on their side, so you're always going to be toppled. So I think that was on the cards. I think the African teams, really, all the sub-Saharan African teams, were a disgrace. I would hail Algeria and say, well done, Algeria.
Yes.
Please, sub-Saharan African black, I would say. I want to put it down so we don't miss out. Watch Algeria, and for me, Algeria were probably the weaker of the African teams, but they performed the best simply because they wanted to, they had the right organization, and they respected each other. That is management as well as players. Next World Cup, I am looking forward to the Colombians. They're a young team. I'm looking forward to the Costa Ricans. I'm looking forward to see how they develop and see if one of those teams can win the World Cup.
But don't leave out the Dutch.
The Dutch, I totally agree with you, but we know they're going to come good. They have quality. We know they're going to come good, and we're hoping that the Dutch can break their duck of never winning a World Cup.
That's true.
They always the quality. Each World Cup they've missed out. They've been the quality.
What's the next tournament be? Is it Russia?
It's Russia. Yeah,
we're being held in Russia.
Completely
different climate. Europeans will be favoured there because obviously they're used to playing in that kind of climate as well. So we need to be looking at all those kind of things, gearing up to the next tournament. Obviously, those of us who are living in Africa need to start looking at different kind of training strategies. Although most of our players do play in those leagues, obviously to get the whole team on the same wavelength will be what's essential.
I think you're getting a bit complex there, Benny. Sorry to say it, the African teams just seem to have no strategy. It's like pot luck.
So we should have some strategy then.
We've got to strategize. We've got to start planning for the next World Cup now.
Yes.
It mustn't be potluck. Just by the way, we've got a World Cup in 2 years' time, qualifying rounds. But let's go around, find our players that play in other countries, bring them in. Let's put them together. Oh, we've got a team now. Let's go and play. That's what it seems like, and it's very sad. And people are talking about our local leagues and so forth. Let's start doing that now. Can we improve our local league to the point where we can get one or two players, say from the Ghana Premier League, for instance, one or two, maybe 3, 4, actually being good enough
to be in the Black
Stars? Can we? That for me is the challenge. And if we can't, it means our local league is as poor as I see it right now. It's bad news. They've got to re-strategize the whole nation, the management team, how the players are selected, how the players are looked after, the finances, the contracts. All those things are total shambles right now and need to be put right.
But more importantly, if I may come in here, I always make reference to the Dutch team because of their education system.
They're 200 years ahead, coach.
Because of their education system. Look, Van Gaal is at the verge of leaving. There has already been a succession plan, and there was already a succession plan that after this World Cup, Van Gaal was going to leave, and the next person to take over is pre-arranged. Then after the one who takes over from Van Gaal, the next one is already known. So they already have their plans in place and the type of players that they want to look out for. So let us see how we can do that. If we're able to plan 8-10 years ahead,
it'll be good.
It will be excellent.
One thing that mentioning our local league, which I see it being a problem as well, is when we played our Black Stars, we had our main team, the Black Stars, and we call them the local Black Stars. That alone, I think, is a problem. At the point where we're branding our players as local, when they're still wearing the same jersey and we're distinguishing them in a completely different fashion or manner, then we're defeating ourselves. So, I mean, Black Stars should be Black Stars. If you have an A team, you have an A team. You have a B team, you have a B team. Calling them the local Black Stars is not correct, I believe.
I agree with you, but somehow there's always going to be that distinction because the local league is simply not doing the job. It's simply not doing the job of producing players that can be integrated. I would say that's the word I'm looking for. Easily integrated, and you cannot tell the difference between this person who came from a local league and this person who plays abroad or plays in Europe until that day comes, there's always going to be some way of this thing, and you have to find a nice way to
That's the thing. It's the nice way of doing it.
Let's find a nice way to do it. Yes.
Maybe you have to domesticate them.
We'll call them the domestic black stars. That could be one.
Yeah.
All right.
Interesting one, Benny. Yeah, I like that one.
Coach Damba and Coach DeGraft, I want to say a big thank you for being here all throughout the tournament, giving us your expertise and a lot of analysis in the tournament as well. And personally, it's been enjoyable all throughout. So thank you so much for joining us all throughout our sports segment.
Thank you. I will always look forward to every morning session. It's been fantastic. Thank you very much, and look forward to the next World Cup.
Yeah. But for me, it's not just about coming here to talk about football and all that, but the scenes over here sometimes mouth-watering.
I know what you're talking about. All right. Well, on that note, we have a little bit left for you here on New Day, and we're back with my co-host as well. So stay with us. Thank you so much to Coach Damba and Coach DeGraft once again.